Welcome, Fit Family. I am Coach Darylyn, and I am absolutely thrilled that you are here. I am thrilled that your coach is shepherding you through this program, and I just want to dig right in and tell you about HBC, the Habit and Behavior Change Program that FitBody is bringing to you. It is the newest program that we have. We've been working tirelessly on it because we know that it's a game changer for you. Now, I'm Coach Darylyn. Some of you may not know me, but I am a master nutrition coach and an expert in the psychology of eating. But that isn't all that I am. I'm also a woman who has lost 180 pounds, and I've kept it off over a decade. Now, it took me about 2 decades to lose that much weight, but I did a lot of having babies and raising them in that meantime. And I've continued on this journey using the exact same kind of building on habits and behaviors that we're going to be doing in this challenge. So I'm really happy you're here. I am massively enthusiastic about working small habits because I know how they've transformed my life and I know what they can do for yours. So let's get right into it. HBC is a coaching program that works in massive ways by doing one thing at a time. In past challengers or past programs that you've done, you probably had to do a lot of things all at once. And even though you can get some good, quick results, what happens in the long run is that you're not able to keep up with them. When life happens, and life happens, you may have found yourself struggling by being overwhelmed, by being overworked. And eventually, you kind of throw your hands up because you can't do it all. But with HBC, as we adopt one small, simple habit at a time, just one, you get to make progress and build on small wins over time. You'll still make great progress because you are changing your life. You're just doing it in smaller ways. It's super, super powerful. So did you know, or you probably do know, that most people that lose a significant amount of weight put it on within the next year? They aren't able to maintain all of the behaviors they had to adopt because they hadn't really gotten ready in the right fashion. But with HBC, we're going to walk you through this and help you master one habit, one action at a time, so that as you start to build, you still have the habits from before and you're just building on them. You don't have to do everything at once. It's really not necessary for success, and we're going to show you how. We're going to get off this diet roller coaster, and it's really profound when you start to realize where you had lost progress before. A lot of the inspiration from our program comes from BJ Fogg and James Clear. You might be familiar with Tiny Habits for Weight Loss. You might be familiar with Atomic Habits. All of these are research books that study the power of small habits and how they build up over time, this sort of compound pounding, if you will. There's a story in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, that I absolutely adore. And it talks about the change of the British cycling team. Now, they had never won any significant competitions, and they got a new coach. Now, when the new coach came in, he didn't try and redo everything. He decided to try and make differences in the smallest ways possible. He did things like change the mattresses that the athletes slept on. He thought that if they got more sleep, they would train better during the day. He changed the way that they washed their hands because he decided that if they could get sick less, they would have less time that they weren't able to practice. He worked on the aerodynamic of their helmets. He worked on how many hours a night they slept. He worked on cross-training and had them learning how to do tennis. All of these tiny things added up into huge results. And even though he didn't change anything significant about their cycling training, they ended up winning several major competitions in years after that. Now, this was really profound because any sort of coach or CEO knows that if you're not winning, if you're not doing well, you might have to redo everything. But the idea that you could change something small and that done enough times, it could add up to something big was really shown in that British cycling team. And that gets me excited every time. Because frankly, as a mom and a business owner, I don't have time to totally overhaul my whole life, but I can adopt small things that move me in the right directions. So why in the heck do we even have habits? What purpose do they serve? The purpose they serve is our brain loves to conserve energy. And so at any opportunity that we don't have to think really hard or do something really difficult in order to get a small gain, it's a win. So it's the reason why when we're walking through our living rooms and we see something in our way, our children's toys perhaps, and we walk right around it or we step right over it. We don't have to think to ourselves, now I have to step to the right and then I have to go forward. We don't have to do that because we've developed habits. Our brain knows how to handle stepping around something in our way. In that same way, the more that we work our health and fitness habits in small ways over time, our brain gets really comfortable and it's not afraid of just doing it out of habit. The easier you can make it, the easier the whole process is. And weight loss does not have to be difficult. Now, there's this power of latent potential that we know about in habit and behavior research. It's the idea that when there is change happening, there's a period of time that you don't see change. And it's in that period of time where you decide if you'll quit or if you'll continue moving forward. In the idea that I have here of ice, if you're cooling off water, and it's cooling and it's cooling and it's 70 degrees and then it's 60 degrees and then it's 50 degrees. Nothing's happening. It's just getting cooler. It's still not ice. But then it's 40 degrees and then it's 38 degrees and then it's 32 degrees and now it's ice. Now, at any time from that 70 or 80 degrees down to the 32 degrees, we could have quit. We could have pulled the ice out of the freezer, and we would have lost all of that build-up energy that turned it to ice when it was the right time. So that's the power of latent potential. It's this potential that you're building over time. And so as you work through this program and we make small moves in the right direction, I want you to think of that ice. I want you to think of all the power that you're building up over time. And at one moment, it clicks. The same is true of the story of the bamboo. I don't know if you've heard this story, but it's one of my favorites because it really shows the potential that is latent and building when you can't even see it. You see, when you plant a bamboo tree, you plant it in sand and nothing happens for a year, and then 2. And then 3, and you still have to water it and cultivate it and care for it, but nothing's happening. You're basically watering sand. Nothing is coming of it. And then year 4, and then in year 5, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. So the question is, did the bamboo grow in 5 years, or did it grow in 6 weeks? Well, of course, it grew in 5 years, but so many times we give up in that period of latent potential. And so, ladies and gentlemen of the Fit family, I want to encourage you to keep the power of latent potential in mind as we move through this, because sometimes it might feel like nothing's happening. We might ask you to do something so small that your brain is freaking out and telling you, this can't possibly make any difference. This can't possibly get me to my goal. And I want you to remember the bamboo, and I want you to remember ice. I want you to think of the tectonic plates under the ground and how they work together over time until there's an earthquake. It doesn't happen all at once. We don't even see that it's happening until it does. The same is true of your health and fitness journey. I also have another graph here that I just want to show you because I think it's really, really powerful. So we all think that when we start a program that we should just shoot off. Like, I have decided that I am going to do a program, and so obviously I'm going to make a ton of progress all at once and it will be amazing. And then sometimes it takes a minute. And we might quit because we're overwhelmed, or we might quit because we think it's not a good time in our life, or we might quit for any number of reasons. But really what happens is when we don't make quick action, quick progress, we get grumpy. We don't like, even if it took us 5 years to gain our weight, we don't like that it's been 5 weeks and we haven't lost it all. And so this little period in there is called the Valley of Disappointment. Now, you are going to make some amazing progress in this program, and I'm really excited for you. But I want you to know that there will be periods of time where you feel like you're not doing enough, and you're going to have periods of time where you feel like it's not coming fast enough. And I just want to remind you that you might be in this little valley of disappointment. The progress is coming. You can see it there. but it might not look how you think it should happen. But this is where real long-term results come from. This is how you lose 180 pounds. So whether you have 180 pounds to lose or whether you have 10 pounds to lose, every little bit counts. Now we're going to be working on your systems, and this is probably different than what you've ever done before because we've often given you a lot of things to do, and it makes you feel really busy, and it makes you feel like you're really getting it done until you can't actually get it done, and then you might stop. And so we really want to encourage you in small ways to build up your systems so that you can get to a place where you are doing all of the things. Where we start is not where we stop. So as we move through this, know that your coaches know the way. We have designed this program specifically with you in mind, and we're going to get you there. BJ Fogg, a habit expert, tells us that the best way to achieve any sort of transformation is to decide who you want to be, do it in small ways, and celebrate it the whole way. And we want to do that. We don't want to just celebrate when we get to the end goal, and we will get to the end goal. We want to celebrate the whole way through. So what is HBC? What does this program look like? So this initial 6 weeks is our kickstart. This is where we are going to get going with those habits. We're going to walk you through week by week. Now, every single week, you're going to be working on getting at least 3 workouts in. You're going to be working on getting 7,000 steps in each day. That is your job. But we're also going to add another component. Some weeks it will be water, some weeks it will be protein, but every single week we'll be building on the week prior. And as you move through this, know that we won't move forward unless you've mastered the current week's programming because we want you to be successful. All right, so what's the plan? In week 1, we're going to drink half our body weight in ounces of water. Now, in addition to that, we're going to be logging it in the very best fitness technology, the Fit Body Nutrition app. We'll be logging your bottles of water in there so that your coach can see that you are accomplishing it every single day. What's really great about this is your brain really likes logging things. It really likes checking things off, and we're going to give it its little dopamine hit by putting that in there. And your coach is going to be checking to make sure that you're getting it all in. So from the very first week, we're going to be doing at least 3 fit body workouts. We're going to be walking at least 7,000 steps each day. We're going to drink half our body weight in ounces of water, and we're going to log it. That's it. We're not asking you to do anything else this week. Focus on the basics. Now, in week 2, we're going to fast forward a little bit so that your coach knows what your baseline is for your nutrition in coming weeks when we get your macros set. Your coach needs to know what you eat from day to day. So in week 2, we're going to have you in the app a whole bunch more. We're going to ask you to log all your food. Now, we want you to get as close as you can to portion size and what the brands are, but we're not looking for perfection. But we are looking for consistency, and we want to see all of your food logged in there. The reason for this is that in later weeks, your coach is going to do a macro assignment, and we want to make sure that we know what you were eating before the program. It'll help us know if those numbers are going to serve you well. So it also is going to really help you get familiar with the app. If you've never been in the Fit Body Nutrition app before, you're going to love it. It's super intuitive. It's very easy to use, and this will be a good practice run. Now, in week 3, we're going to back up a little bit, and we're going to have you focusing on protein. Now, protein is super important because it keeps you nice and full. It helps you build lean mass, and most people just aren't getting enough of it. So we really know that this is a basis we need to focus on. So in week 3, we're going to have you eating a palm-sized portion of protein every single meal. So if you're eating, there should be a protein there, and it should be about the size of your palm. If you're having eggs, your portion would be as many as you can hold in the palm of your hand. So for me, it would be about 3 eggs. So this is your measuring guide. This is your scale, and this is what you'll use as you move into week 3. We want to log every single protein you eat, and every single meal and snack should have a protein. If you have any questions about what proteins are good for you, we're going to have a guide for you, and your coach is also there for you. Now, in week 4, we're going to track a palm-size portion of protein and also a piece of produce or a serving of produce with every meal. So we're going to be looking for between 3 and 5 servings of protein and between 3 and 5 servings of a produce. You can choose fruit or a vegetable. Nobody is super overweight because they ate too many bananas. So if you really prefer fruit, enjoy your fruit. Later on, we'll start dialing in numbers. But for now, getting in the habit of getting really solid whole foods is the name of the game. In week 5, we're going to be weighing and measuring and tracking your protein at every meal. So if you have a little scale, great. And if you don't, you might want to pick one up. You can order one online. They're usually about $10. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, but it's really a great way to know exactly what amount you are getting in each meal. So we want to know what the protein is for each meal. Week 6, we're going to be weighing, measuring, tracking the protein at each meal, and we want to be closing the green ring. Now, this can be a little bit tricky. Your coach is going to get you through it. I'm going to help, and we're going to do this together. So if you have trouble closing that protein ring, don't worry. We are going to get there. In fact, we know that it's so important that we're going to do it for 2 weeks. Weeks 5 and week 6, we'll be working on closing that green ring. Now, in weeks 7 through 12, we have a whole other array of step-ladder approaches that get you to your final destination of closing all 3 green rings. We will auto-enroll you into that program. If you choose not to continue, you don't have any obligation, but we're really excited to get you going all the way through the program so that you can be hitting those macros like a boss. All right, so your coaching and accountability for this program. You are going to have your local coach there for you. Every Tuesday, you're going to hear from your local coach after they see that you've checked in inside the FitBody app. We're going to show you how to do that. It isn't hard at all. Every Monday, you're going to get a prompt inside the app letting you know that it's time to check in. You'll check in, and on Tuesdays, your coach will check to make sure you've done that. They'll high-five you virtually or in the gym. And if you haven't had your check-in, they'll go ahead and encourage you to get that done. On Thursdays, your local coach is going to check in with you and make sure that that weekly practice is happening. They're going to make sure that they see all those proteins, all that water, all those carbohydrates, all of those good vegetables and fruits are being logged inside your app. If they don't see that, they're going to reach out to you. And if they do see that, they are going to reach out to you. So look forward to hearing from your coach. Now, if I haven't driven you crazy yet, then you can look forward to hearing from me on Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I have some amazing hacks. I have some great strategies. I have some good education, and I have some mindset work that will keep you on track during the week. I have written all of these. I have researched all of them, and I really am excited about getting the opportunity to get to coach you alongside your local team. So you'll be hearing from us a lot. If you haven't already downloaded the FitBody Nutrition app, now is your time. I have the QR codes on here for you for Apple and for Google Play. Your facility is going to be able to give you your login, and they will have you already set up inside the app, and you will be good to go. So after this video orientation, I know that they will walk you through exactly how to get into the app and all of the goodness that it has to offer. You are going to be logging each week's practice inside the app. Everything needs to be done in the app because that's how the coach will be able to easily see if you're on track or if you need some coaching. So every practice will be done inside the app. Every Monday, you will check in inside the app. It's really easy. It takes less than 1 minute, and it just keeps you accountable to what's been happening from the week before. Do we have any questions? Your team will be able to answer those for you. I have a pop quiz for you. How will you find out your habit practice each week? That's right. You're going to hear it from me on Sundays. On Sundays, I will reach out to you. Your team will deliver it to you, and I will let you know each week what your new habit is. What is your week 1 habit? Do you remember? It is drinking half your body weight in ounces of water and logging it. In addition, all of these weeks, we're checking in with our fit body. We're getting our 3 workouts in, and we're trying to get about 7,000 steps each day. What day of the week do you complete your check-in inside the app? Mondays. Every Monday of the challenge, you will do a check-in inside the app. And if you don't, your coach will reach out to you to make sure that they can help you get that done. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here and turn it over to your local team. I'm really excited for you. I welcome your questions. Your team is on your side, and they're here for you. Thanks for being a part of the HBC Challenge.